Welcome back. The Hephaestus Challenge continues right here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show. I'm sitting down with one of the engineers and lead organizers for the Mad Hatters team. It's Tora Zuki.
Hi.
How are you, Tora?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good. We're going to go ahead and go over details first, but first off, right now, Mad Hatters, as we are looking at things, are doing actually very well in your division. Right now, you're 3-3 with an opportunity to go 4-3 towards the end of the regular season. You have the Art of War this weekend. Where exactly are you aiming now with the Mad Hatters team? What kind of direction are you guys taking when it comes to competitive play?
We're just trying to do our best. At the moment, we had a few problems, and we're just trying to get everything back and running and working again.
Let's talk about that just a moment. Week 3, you guys had to forfeit a match against Glowwater Thralls. You lost Velvet as a pilot. You had some personnel shakeup there. Are you able to say anything about what happened there, and how did you guys recover from that?
Yeah, Velvet left us because of personal stuff. So it was exactly that day in the morning, and we didn't have the time to find another captain. So we had to forfeit there, and a lot of crew went with him. Like, they had enough of losing captains and all of that. So
people just didn't want to deal with it at that point?
Yeah, it was just, yeah, they didn't want it. So we actually had luck because we had a lot of new applicants, a lot of trials, and there were a lot of good players in them. So we asked them if they wanted to play. They wanted to, and now we're having our team again.
Now, you guys have new captains. Tell us about the captains you guys have put in place now, as well as regular new crew members you guys have taken on to fill the team out.
To our captains, we had Mitz the Wildcard and Catherine Scarborough, former Catherine S. Rammer. Both are very good pilots. They work together very well, but our problem right now is that Catherine is going on vacation, and it's not going to be here for 3 months now. So we have a new captain, Princess Tudu. He is a great captain too, and we're just integrating him to the team right now.
How'd you guys come up with Mitza and Catherine in the first place after week 3? Was that a very natural occurrence where they wanted to be those next pilots? Or was it more of a decision where, well, we have these many pilots, these are our best options?
It was more just asking them. We knew that those people had time, and we knew that they were actually rather good pilots. So we just asked them and hoped for the best, because we didn't have that many pilots that had enough time to play competitively at that moment. So, yeah.
Sure. Also, from what I've been able to gather and from talking to gents with how things are organized, it sounds like Mitza has really stepped up as well in that pilot and captain role for the team. Is that true? Has he really kind of pushed the boundaries and the lines for what he thought he was capable of and moved forward?
Yeah, he did. He took over the organization and all the stuff with help of crew. Like, we were actually a big team. There's no one really having the lead. But if you'd have to decide who would take the lead, it would be Mitza.
Now, taking a step back here, where did the Mad Hatters team come from? Obviously, you're part of the Gents, but you're one of the longest-standing secondary teams in the entirety of Guns of Icarus, in the history of Guns of Icarus, second only to one of the Ducks teams. Where did you guys come from in the first place, and how'd you get formed?
It was actually very simple. We had the Gents as the main team, and then there were all the subs that actually wanted to play competitive. So they just stepped up and said, yeah, let's make a new team. Let's try it out.
Now, you guys have obviously had quite a few people come through your ranks. Madaloud comes to mind. Velvet comes to mind. You guys have had a lot of people step in and fill those roles as Mad Hatters. How did you end up coming to be involved, and how did you reach a place of organization like you were at right now?
At first, I was just a sub. That was when I joined the Gentleman. I was subbing on Zuka's ship,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started like subbing all the time, being that general sub everyone has. That's just called a sub, but playing in every match. And then when we got Velvet and Zingy as captains, I helped Velvet start organizing stuff, and I'm still doing the same thing with Midsta.
Mm-hmm. Now, what exactly do you do?
I'm helping out with looking at enemies' crew loadouts, suggesting our loadouts. I look for subs if we need one, and yeah, basically that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know you're not just a gent in your history. You've been with a couple other clans. Are there any other big clans that you've been with and that you enjoyed your time with?
Before I joined the Gentleman, I was a cake. I had a lot of fun with those people, but I was just missing that special something that I then found in the Gentleman.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving forward here, you guys started out the Hephaestus Challenge pretty well. You got a very solid win over Muse, and then a loss to the Clamor, and then your week 3 happened where you had to forfeit one. You guys have come back very strong. A win against Overwatch, a 5-0 in fact, which in most previous situations, most people would never dream of someone 5-0ing Overwatch. They've always been a very competent and powerful team. Then, last week, you came up and you 5-1 DPA, beating them pretty much at their own Goldfish game with, once again, a Blenderfish loadout on, of all places, Northern Fjords. Is the Blenderfish something that you guys are going to try to stick to? Is it something you're going to move forward with?
We don't have actual builds we want to stick with.
Mm-hmm.
We're more the team that tries to counter enemies' builds. We look at the enemy's build and say, yeah, that could counter that. And then we practice those builds like 1 or 2 times before. Like, we don't have actual builds that are ours.
So the Blenderfish thing has more been a, well, this last team, it countered really well. This team, it's going to counter really well, too. Let's just keep it up for this one, too.
Yeah.
This week, you have Art of Warfare. What are your feelings going up against them? They haven't had a win yet. Certainly, they don't want to go out of the regular season without a win. They're going to be hungry for a win. They're going to really be striving for that. How are you guys going to handle that desperation that they have?
First off, we're going to study their builds a bit, but we're not expecting too much consistency from them because we have seen them change their play style through the tournament. So we're just gonna practice a lot and try to get various builds working and going, and then hope for the best.
That's not normally people don't just say hope for the best, but clearly you guys have some kind of system in place. Again, it's been a situation of the last 2 games you've had very convincing wins. Now going into the postseason 4-3, you're probably going to be in the silver bracket. How are you guys going to deal with that? Even if you're in one of the upper areas of the silver bracket, how are you guys going to handle that extreme competition to try and stay alive in the Hephaestus Challenge?
Probably just like we did right now. Have our practices, try and analyze our enemies, and do our best.
How has the mentality of the Mad Hatters been? Again, this has been a very up and down tournament for you guys. How has the team handled it, in your opinion?
We've always been very enthusiastic. We were not hoping for any wins, and then when we won, we were really happy and practiced even harder for the next matches. So, all in all, we were thinking pretty positive about what we did until now.
There we go. Tora of the Mad Hatters, one of the lead organizers for that team, and also a fantastic engineer as well, if you never had her main engineer on your ship. Ah, goodness. Thank you, Tora, for sitting down. Any closing thoughts you might have?
Not really.
No? Nothing? Well, there we go. Tora, good luck against the art of warfare this weekend. I'm sure you're going to do an amazing job.
Thanks.
That's Torazuki. That's the Mad Hatters, and you're listening to the Hephaestus Challenge right here on twitch.tv/The Robin Dan Show.